Hello and welcome back to the News Project Live. I'm Andrew McKeever, the news director at GNAT-TV's News Project. It's a pleasure to have you with us today on Friday, October 7th. Um, just going to go through a few of the items that we've been following. You probably have already heard that the North Shire Bookstore has acquired new owners, three sisters from Danby. Nicole, Kathleen, and Ashley Ihaz Austin, I should say. They acquired the business on Monday, September 26th from Clark French, and we had the opportunity to do a interview with them earlier this week, which we'll be putting out on our channels and also the website. So you have a chance to hear a little bit more about some of their plans for um, the upcoming years. Um, Really interesting conversation. I think you'll find it quite enjoyable. Um, Moving on from there, it's been a while since we used to mention all the time the COVID numbers for Bennington County and the state, and kind of stopped doing that a while ago when it seemed like those numbers were tapering off. But we just thought it might be worth mentioning because this past week the health department has noted that Bennington County is the only county in the state that is rating as a high level of COVID-19 levels. Um, I should say the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported that last week. And that's the first time a Vermont county has reported high levels since this past June. It's based on recent case counts and hospital admissions and the percentage of hospital beds occupied by COVID patients. Um, the Vermont Department of Health has reported low COVID statewide, but doesn't break down their ratings by county. So we've had a medium level in Bennington County since June 30th, but now have been bumped up to the high level. The rest of the state, with the exception of Rutland County, which is at a medium level, is at a low level. So we all want this to be over, but maybe keep those masks handy when you're going indoors, perhaps. Uh, we did a segment on the booster shots that are now available, third round of boosters, which includes an interview with Health Commissioner Mark Levine, which I think, again, you'll find it all fairly interesting and quite fascinating. Moving back to some local news, we had done a segment on a sewer line proposed for Main Street in Manchester last week. And this past Tuesday, this Manchester Select Board members voted to reject five bids that they got for the work on that sewer, and are going to postpone doing any work on it until next February, or try to have a reworked project proposal ready for next February, I should say. Uh, Manchester interim town manager Leslie Para said that there were significantly higher costs than what they were anticipating that came in the five bids, all of which checked in at over $1 million. And the board was expecting something more in the neighborhood of 650,000. So they concluded that that was just too much, and they're going to go back and, I guess, rethink the project to see if there's some way to bring the cost down to that 650 range and go forward from there. It's a really important project that would improve sewer and water line access, or well, sewer line access, the stretch of Main Street, roughly from Cemetery Avenue to the Vermont Country Store corporate office. And that's a phase one of a three-phase project. But again, we have a segment out on that, which you can find on our website and also see on our channels. So you can check that out there. The Aunt Bonnie's CBD store in Manchester has gotten a green light from the Manchester Development Review Board to move forward with selling cannabis. Now that legal sales of cannabis are possible here in the state as of October 1st. That would be the first cannabis store, obviously, in Manchester to obtain that clearance. They still need to get a permit from the state cannabis control board before they can start selling that product. But they seem to be on the first step anyway. At least locally. There are a couple of other locations around the state, including one in Bennington that has applied for a license. But right now, there are only, I believe, five retail licenses granted statewide, one for a shop in Middlebury, one in Rutland, two in Burlington, and one in Brattleboro. So, we discussed this a little bit on our Press Pass program earlier this week, and while it's certainly a big change, it's probably a whole lot different from what it would have been a year or two ago when Vermont is now, I think, the 19th state in the country to legalize sales of cannabis. So it's no longer got the same kind of, I don't know, not shock value exactly, but, newness to it. And related to that, I should point out that up in Winhall, voters there for the second time approved an opt-in for allowing retail cannabis sales in their town should someone come along and want to try and open up such a business. They passed that measure by 144 to 101. Many of you will remember that last April in 2021, townspeople voted on a floor vote at their town meeting to opt in, but I guess they didn't realize that such votes had to be conducted by Australian ballot or secret ballot, and so a second vote was taken on September 27th, a couple of weeks ago, and that passed by a fairly wide margin. So, at some point or another, perhaps cannabis sales will be occurring in Winhall as well. And just some program notes coming up this coming week. We'll be doing a couple of discussion shows with the candidates from the Bennington 4 district. That's the district that includes Manchester, Arlington, Sandgate, and part of Sunderland. Seth Bongartz, Kathleen James, and a challenger, Joe Jervis, will be in our studio to talk about why you ought to check the box next to their name when it comes to time to marking up your ballot. And then hopefully the following day on October 13th, we'll be having Representative David Durfee, who represents the Bennington 3 district. That's the town of Shaftesbury and the rest of Sunderland that isn't part of the Bennington 4 district. He and his challenger, Victor Harwood, will hopefully be in our studio to, again, talk about talk about their views and why you should vote for them. And while we're on the subject, just another reminder that early voting has already begun. The elections aren't until November 8th, but you can vote now. Many of you probably already got your ballots in the mail. They've been sent out a couple of days ago, so no reason not to have your voice heard. And just to close things up, one item we noticed on our events calendar that be kind of fun. The Dorset Players are back. They are starting their fall-winter season with a production of Barefoot in the Park, the famous Neil Simon play. That'll be starting tonight at 7:30. It'll also be on stage tomorrow at the Dorset Playhouse. Showtime or curtain time there is again 7:30 p.m. And on Sunday it will be a matinee at 2 p.m. It'll also be on the following weekend, next week, Friday through Sunday, the same showtime, 7:30 on Friday night and Saturday night, and then 2 p.m. on Sunday. Well, okay, we'll leave it there for today. Hope you all have a nice weekend coming up and enjoy the foliage and the fall weather, and we'll see you again next time. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever. Take care. Good to be with you today.